knew that if I made it, I'd want to make it in the most authentic way possible. And I thought, well, if I can get Lewis to be my producing partner on it, he can teach me about the world of Formula One as a person who lives every day, and maybe I can kind of teach him a little bit about the world of filmmaking. And luckily for me, that's how he saw it as well, and he agreed to partner up on it. And that's kind of where this all started. He said, you know, I want to make the most authentic racing film ever. Will you help me? And luckily for me, Lewis said yes.
Kosinski brought Jerry Bruckheimer, the producer behind Top Gun: Maverick. They just proved with that film that practical filmmaking at extreme speeds could work. Tom Cruise flew real fighter jets. No CGI cop-outs, no shortcuts, just commitment to craft. Now they wanted to do the same thing with Formula One. Apple Original Films committed to the vision, full backing, complete support. And from day one, everyone involved declared, we're doing this the hard way.
We can do it the hard way.
Because here's the thing about making an authentic F1 racing film. It's physically impossible by every conventional standard. The physics problem hits you first. Formula One cars reach speeds over 200 miles per hour. Standard cinema cameras cannot capture that without motion blur. The G-forces alone would destroy normal equipment. You need cinema quality imaging at speeds where every millisecond matters. Then comes the space problem. F1 cockpits are engineered for one purpose: speed. Every millimeter matters. There is no room for anything except the driver and the absolute essentials. Fitting cinema cameras that can deliver film quality images? The cockpit wasn't designed for that. The aerodynamics won't allow it. Access presents its own nightmare. F1 teams protect their technology like state secrets. They don't allow filming during race weekends. Championship points are on the line. Millions of dollars in sponsorship, thousands of fans, real stakes, real competition. You don't get to just shoot a movie in the middle of that. And precedent? There is none. Rush filmed on closed tracks with controlled environments. Senna was documentary footage, not narrative fiction. Drive to Survive films the reality, doesn't embed fictional characters into it. No one has ever made a narrative film inside a real F1 season, with fictional characters operating alongside real teams. So they had to invent new technology. Kosinski approached Sony with a request that probably sounded insane. I need cinema quality in GoPro side.
The ideal is a sensor on a stick, as small as we could go, and we definitely wanted quality as well.
It's a full frame sensor, 4K.
Small enough to mount inside an F1 cockpit without destroying the aerodynamics. Sony delivered 25 custom cameras built specifically for this production, each one packing cinema image quality into a package that could survive 200 miles per hour. They split the sensor from the recording unit, hid the tech in cavities under the car's radiators, 16 camera positions on each vehicle, angles you've never seen before because they never existed. But here's the commitment that shows the insanity. Each camera required manual adjustment for every track, every tire compound, every temperature variation. Because at 200 miles per hour, vibration means the difference between a usable shot and complete failure.
It was Lewis, and then it was also Toto Wolff, who basically recommended that rather than build a movie car that could go on a racetrack, he said, why don't you start with a race car and then modify it to shoot. We did just that. We bought 6 race cars, F2 cars, and we worked with Mercedes-AMG F1 team to modify them, make them look just like Formula One cars, but also work in all the recorders and batteries and camera equipment that we needed into the body of the car so that we could mount our very small camera onto it. So we built 15 camera mounts into the car.
Mercedes-AMG HPP built the cars, actual race-capable machines. They spent a year engineering spaces where recording equipment could hide without compromising speed. And Brad Pitt and Damson Idris drove them, themselves,
I really was behind
at speed, over 200 miles per hour.
We would sit down, we'd have a map of the track and go through what we were aiming for at each section. So we know when we hit this point, we got to get choreographed this moment, and we choreograph with the cars and get the lines in at that point.
Then came the access problem. The solution was Apex GP, a fictional 11th F1 team that operated with real paddock access during actual Grand Prix weekends, real garage space, real logistics, operating like an actual F1 team while filming a movie. They shot during formation laps before races started.
Being wheeled out before a race weekend, having all the teams work on their cars.
Cool down laps after races finished. 5-minute windows of opportunity while real F1 cars were on track. Thousands of real fans in the stands becoming unintentional extras. The cockpit became a confession booth. The camera became truth. No hiding, no faking, no shortcuts. This was the foundation, the technology that had to be invented, the access that had to be negotiated, the commitment that had to be absolute, and that was just the beginning. Formula One race weekends don't stop for movies. Practice sessions run on schedule. Qualifying determines grid positions. The race happens whether you're ready or not. Thousands of fans. Real teams competing for championship points. Stakes that matter beyond the film. The film crew had to operate in the middle of that hurricane. 5-minute windows during formation laps. Those brief moments during cool-down laps. Real F1 cars on track simultaneously. Real noise. Real chaos.
Incredibly nerve-wracking because, rather than having a day to shoot a scene or even a few hours, sometimes we'd only have a few minutes because we're shooting during a live event. So we had to be incredibly prepared. The actors had to be, at the top of their game, knowing that you might only get one take.
Imagine Silverstone, over 140,000 fans in the stands, the roar of 20 F1 cars screaming past, radio chatter from 10 real teams, pit crews scrambling, championship implications hanging on every decision, and somewhere in the middle of that, a film crew trying to capture authentic racing with cameras that required manual adjustment between every take. But then the car hits the apex, and all of that noise disappears. The camera inside the cockpit, the engine note, the wind, the breathing, everything else fades. Just the driver and the track. That's what they were chasing. That moment of pure focus, pure speed, pure truth. But capturing that truth meant Brad Pitt and Damson Idris had to become drivers, because the camera is inches from your face inside that cockpit. You can't fake G-forces. You can't act compression at 200 miles per hour. Your body responds whether you want it to or not. The only way to make it real is to actually do it. Months of professional racing driver training, the Porsche Experience Center, Patrick Long, an actual Porsche factory driver who won the Daytona 24 Hours, provided the training. Actual racing driver preparation. They trained on Porsche GT3R cars, real race machines that compete in GT3 series worldwide. The opening of the film shows Sonny Hayes driving for Chip Art Racing at Daytona. That's a real endurance race, real speeds. Brad Pitt and Damson Idris drove those cars themselves. It's the same philosophy as Top Gun Maverick. Tom Cruise flew real fighter jets because you can see the truth in his eyes when the G-forces hit. You can't fake that physiological response. Brad Pitt drove real race cars for the same reason. At 200 miles per hour, your body knows, the camera knows, the audience knows. This is why the final race feels real, because it is real. But even with all that commitment, with all that technology, with all that access, everything kept going wrong. Camera vibration at 200 miles per hour required manual adjustment for each track surface, each tire compound, each temperature variation. What works at Monaco doesn't work at Monza. What works in daylight fails at night. Every single camera position needed constant recalibration. Weather became an enemy. Outdoor filming means no control, rain delays, wind affecting cameras, temperature changes affecting equipment. That crash in the rain? I still don't know how they captured it, but watching it felt visceral, dangerous, real. Coordinating with 20 real F1 teams, all with competing interests, all protecting proprietary technology, all operating on their own schedules. Every decision required approval. Every shot needed clearance. One team says no, you lose that angle. And the filming spanned multiple seasons. F1 calendars change, sponsors change, logistics compound. What you planned in 2022 doesn't work in 2023. Adapt or fail. When you line everything up, the physics, the technology, the timing, the coordination, when you see how many things had to go right simultaneously while everything kept going wrong, when you understand that every conventional wisdom said this was impossible, against every rule they broke, the film still stands. And yet what separates this from being another production that overcame challenges is that Kosinski refused to compromise when things got hard. Most racing films, when production gets difficult, make predictable choices. Rapid cuts hide imperfect shots. Wall-to-wall music manipulates emotion. Sound stages replace real locations when weather doesn't cooperate. Stunt doubles step in when actors can't commit. CGI enhancement makes everything look faster, better. Kosinski did the opposite. He held shots. 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Let you see, let you feel, let you understand the speed through sustained immersion rather than editing tricks. He used strategic silence, stripped away the music at crucial moments, trusted that the sound of racing, the breathing, the wind, the engine, the stakes, trusted that would be enough. That you didn't need Hans Zimmer's orchestra telling you what to feel every single second. He stayed on real tracks, no compromises. If weather made it difficult, they waited, they adapted. He kept actors in the cars. Brad Pitt at 200 miles per hour, Damson Idris at race speed, because commitment to authenticity shows on screen. He embraced practical effects. What you see is real. Real cars, real speeds, real tracks, real crowds. This philosophy came from Top Gun Maverick. That film worked because you felt the speed, you felt the G-forces, you felt the stakes. The audience knew Tom Cruise was actually in those jets. It changed how you watched every sequence. Same philosophy here. Trust the audience, trust the craft, trust silence. Most directors fear silence feels empty, like you're not trying hard enough, like you're leaving emotional beats on the table. Kosinski weaponizes silence as his most powerful tool. strips everything away until all that's left is truth, and nowhere is that more devastating than the final race. I walked into that IMAX theater expecting a solid racing film. Joseph Kosinski directing, Brad Pitt starring, Hans Zimmer scoring. Everything suggested quality, professional, well executed, good. Within 10 minutes, something shifted. I wasn't watching racing anymore. I was in the car. The IMAX screen filled my peripheral vision. The sound design put me inside the cockpit. The camera angles Kosinski chose, those sustained shots that don't cut away, they forced immersion, actual transportation. My body responded. I leaned forward, gripped the armrest. Forgot I was in a theater. Top Gun Maverick made you believe Tom Cruise could fly. This made you believe you were in the car with Sonny Hayes. But immersion alone won't carry a film. You have to care about the people. Here's what the film understood. Sonny Hayes is a man who doesn't know if he still belongs. He's aware he's older, aware he's slower, aware every young driver on the grid is hungrier, but he still knows how to read a race, that veteran instinct, that ability to see 3 corners ahead while everyone else sees one. The film is funnier than I expected. Sonny exploits loopholes, finds gaps in the regulations.
Flags out, all the cars are forced to hold track position, meaning that to Sonny Hayes, the race ends under a safety car.
Uses experience to manufacture opportunities that younger drivers don't see. There's this sly edge to how he operates, like watching someone who's been around long enough to know exactly which rules can bend without breaking. Joshua Pierce is good enough to know he's good. He's frustrated the car isn't. The tension between them comes from both wanting the same thing, but needing different paths to get there. Damson Idris brings intensity to the role, even if the character feels slightly underdeveloped compared to Sonny's arc. Kate, played by Carrie Condon, asks the question no one else in the film asks. How do you think I'd feel if you die on the track? Real fear, real stakes. Ruben, Javier Bardem's character, is Sonny's best friend whose entire life savings are in this team. He needs one race win to survive. One. The chemistry between Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem elevated every scene they shared. Bardem brought weight to every line, made a sports film feel like it had consequences beyond winning. He elevated the script in every scene he touched. People, with histories, with doubts, with friendships that matter more than trophies. Hans Zimmer's score captured human heartbeat meeting engine rhythm, analog instruments meeting digital synthesis, and Zimmer's greatest strength has always been knowing when to stop. Holy did Zimmer cook. Most composers blanket films with music, tell you how to feel every moment. Kosinski did something different. He used silence to let you discover what you feel. When you strip away music, sound effects, commentary, what's left is stakes. What's left is truth. What's left is you, alone with the moment, feeling it without being told what to feel. And nowhere is that more powerful than the final race. Final race, everything on the line. 3 laps. The team has one strategy. Joshua and Sonny both know it. The strategy starts falling apart. Gaps not closing fast enough. Positions not working. Stakes shifting. And Sonny, in that moment, sees something else. A different line, a different approach. Something only decades of racing teaches you to see. And then no Zimmer, no orchestra, no emotional cues, just engines, wind, breathing. The camera holds on Sonny's face, just watching him, and you see it happen. He disappears into the zone, that thing athletes describe, that flow state, just driving, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, film holds, just Sonny reading the race, seeing everything, every gap, every opportunity, every risk. The camera stays inside the cockpit, on his eyes, on his breathing. The music is gone, completely, just engine, wind, the sound of speed, and then the theater went silent. I'm not exaggerating, 300 people, pin drop silent, because we were watching Sonny Hayes, and he was racing. The final 3 laps, the double sacrifice play, the way the film shoots it, you feel every decision, every risk, every commitment, shown through driving, through racing, through silence. The racing scenes are exhilarating, the editing is excellent, Oscar-worthy easily. It's basically Top Gun Maverick but with cars, and that combination of practical cinematography with CGI enhancement, one of the best I've ever seen. You can't tell where real ends and digital begins. When Sonny crossed the line, I didn't move, the theater didn't move, because we just watched someone win, a person, an actual race, with real stakes, real consequences, real emotion earned through 2.5 hours of not being told what to feel. When the lights came up, I realized something. This film dragged me back into Formula One. After drifting away, after losing interest, after thinking I was done with the sport, I care again. That drift from F1, late 2023, early 2024. Somewhere in there I stopped caring. This film shouldn't have pulled me back. I've seen every racing film trick, every emotional manipulation, every way to fake speed and stakes. And yet, this film trusted me, trusted the audience, didn't fake speed with rapid cuts, didn't manipulate emotion with wall-to-wall music, didn't compromise when production got impossible. That silence in the final race, that's confidence. That's saying, I've shown you truth, you feel it. I don't need to tell you what to feel. Brad Pitt still has that movie star charisma, that capital S superstar presence that makes you believe he belongs anywhere. The film smartly addressed why someone his age would be an F1 driver and made his experience the focal point. He carries scenes with that swagger, steals every moment he's in. This feels like a late 90s, early 2000s action films. Days of Thunder energy. Rocky Heart, that familiar structure elevated by incredible camera work, a great cast, a leading man who still got the charm, and talent behind the camera that turns it into a hell of an experience. There's cookie cutter stuff, sure, but I didn't care. It was fun, well shot, killer soundtrack, the night scenes with fireworks, characters meeting in airports, driveways, stadiums, parks. It makes you part of the journey, makes you feel like the world is bigger, and no one's stopping you from going the distance except yourself. The humor, the banter, the team-building moments, all of it felt genuine, because the cast brought their own flair. And surprisingly, Javier Bardem and Kerry Condon get equal stakes alongside Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. The fun is balanced. Everyone matters. The pacing is good, highly entertaining. Both halves gripped me equally. This is the kind of movie that pulls people back to theaters. That reminds you why theatrical experiences matter. Why 4K laser projection and Dolby sound and getting the best seat in a packed auditorium is worth the hassle. This proved that cinema, real cinema, uncompromising, still matters. That practical filmmaking still has power. That silence, properly deployed, hits harder than any score. That's what classics do. They change you. They remind you why you fell in love in the first place. This movie should not exist, and yet it does, and I'm grateful. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Watch my next video, Why Stranger Things is the perfect comfort show.